Okay, CST 239, milestone 1 activity. So we were asked to go ahead and create the beginning works of what would be the structure for a storefront application. I started with this portion of what we were given as far as a diagram goes for the front end to back end flow diagram from what was given in our actual final assignment descriptive. So I kind of worked my way off of this diagram to kind of create my flow chart for the UMLs. I figured it was a little bit simpler to look at it as the soluble product was capable of being in a relationship with the shopping cart as well as the inventory manager, and then the storefront application would run as if it was the dispensing class and integrate in between those two different classes that would be keeping count of different essentially hash map lists that depend on the soluble product as well as dependent upon the storefront application. And I similarly drew my UML diagram to represent that, including all of the different private attributes as well as methods that I designed into the simplified version to start out. So starting with our dispensing class or storefront application class, I went ahead and created two objects that were going to be added into the private construct. So I went ahead and created the inventory manager object and a shopping cart object, since these were going to be the two objects used to interact with the storefront, whether that be adding a quantity, removing a quantity, adding a product, or removing a product. These two different objects would be capable of doing either while integrating with the user class, hopefully eventually. So I went ahead and made sure that it was capable of having different methods that would help us in that. So initialize the store allows us to initialize the inventories for these two objects. Then we can always cancel and or purchase a product at any given time. From there, I went ahead and defined the soluble product UML. I have a private string for name, a private double for price, a private integer attribute for quantity, and then another string for description. I went ahead and had different methods. We have a get name, get description, get price, and get quantity. Those methods are pretty self-explanatory. So from there, I drew the relationship to the shopping cart. Hash map, something new that I learned. Basically, a table similar to Excel that associates one object parameter argument with another related variable type. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an integer. And soluble product represents an object itself. So a hash map is capable of taking different variable types and associating them together to make a table. And in this sense, I then initiated my shopping cart, add product, remove product, calculate total, get items. All pretty self-explanatory methods for that particular class. From there, I went over and created my inventory manager class, another hash map that was capable of recording what products and what quantities will be contained within this class object. So initializing again, add inventory, remove inventory. It's pretty simple for that guy. He just needs to be able to add and remove products from the storefront class. Okay, on to code. Here we go. So I went ahead and watched the videos that were given to us to try and help us get started, but I had already kind of started constructing what was going on for the storefront, looking up different things online for YouTube and Stack Overflow to see some examples, and much to the effect of what you were discussing in your videos, that this wasn't going to be something that was copy paste editable. You're going to have to do some work to really construct these things to be logical and work. So I kind of explained a little bit in the UML of how some of the classes would start out, but I'm going to start with the storefront itself. So here's my storefront class. So I went ahead and created two private variables, they're objects. From there, we initialized the storefront by creating new objects, inventory manager and shopping cart. From there, we go ahead and add some of these products. I went ahead and used arbitrary numbers because I don't know what we're going to do yet. I hypothesized some shields and helmets and different things, amulets of that nature, that some things similar to like Diablo that I used to play. Another method, purchase the product, which will then remove it from the inventory of the actual inventory manager and add it to the shopping cart, which inversely you can change that as well when you're doing canceling of a purchase. And right here in the main, this is where we start to actually build what we're going to see as a response to our different integration and encapsulation and associations of classes. From here, I went ahead and added 15 different products using a for loop. Initialize a product object that would pass these arguments, and then went ahead and called my method purchase product, passing product 1 as my actual argument. Into that, send system out printing a get name method, a get price method, and this will display, as you can see down here, it iterates through for all 15 products. So then I gave it a total at the end, as well as listing out what we have in our actual shopping cart. So from there, we can look at the actual shopping cart class itself. We have to import different packages in order to have access to the different classes that are associated. So the shopping cart class has a hash map. From there, items is our new hash map, initialized within our shopping cart method. We have an add product method. These are arguments that are passed, product object, as well as a quantity that is an integer. This gets the current quantity of the specified product, and then it would go ahead and translate and put current quantity plus whatever quantity was added and return said quantity. From there, we're going to have our remove product, passes an object product and a quantity that's an integer. This is just updating what we're doing as we remove and or add products from an actual object that we were creating within that method. From there, you can calculate your total. I went ahead and gave everything an easy total of 100, and I have dollars in the print, but I really don't know. I mean, we could say there's going to be some, currency to the game. Could be Rupelin, or Zelda use rupees and different things of that nature. So I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm defined what currency may be associated, so I just put dollars, so it was easy. This is my inventory manager class. Had to import my soluble product since it's underneath a different package, as you can see over here. Okay, loaded all the Java docs, so go ahead and run it. As you can see, it compiles. One thing I did notice, I haven't figured out why this is printing in the order that it is. So some debugging that I can probably take the opportunity to troubleshoot with. Okay, moving on to the soluble product. This was actually the easiest of the classes to define, although containing more methods, just pretty simple in nature as it is. So soluble product, got a private class of the 4 different variables that we had originally discussed in our UML. We initialize them here, insatiating them with this function, object function. All right, here we go. We have our public get name method, get description, get price, get quantity. And that's pretty much all that there is defined so far for my soluble product method. But it's a decent outline for the beginning of an application. And I will upload this to YouTube so that you can review and see what I've got. Thank you.